Hi, people from the YouTube. I'm Anna Maika. You can also call me Anna if that's too complicated for you. And yeah, we're gonna make another video today, obviously. And today I will be talking about the ENTP and INFJ relationship, which is the relationship that I am in. Um, yep. So, first of all, I want to say that I've been really happily surprised by the reactions I've had recently on my videos. It was really suddenly that there was a surge in views and, like, most importantly, very like personal reactions. And yeah, I really enjoyed seeing that, and it gave me some new yeah, energy to do this because yeah, there are ups and downs in my motivation, definitely, especially because it's kind of hard for me to make videos still. It's still a challenge, and like that's also the very reason why I am doing this. Like I am enjoying it, but I also want to get better at expressing my ideas and like challenge myself to get over my performance anxiety. So that's like something I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to making this video. This video came to be because, like, half a year ago, maybe even 1 year, I made an article about the ENTP plus INFJ relationship because I felt really inspired to like combine all of my theoretical knowledge with my personal experience because I am in this relationship, like I already said. And like I also wanted to put it together for myself to understand my own relationship better because like sometimes this knowledge is a bit more how do you say that? It's not so concrete, and by writing it down I felt like I could reach a deeper understanding and yeah, maybe also share it with people. So from the beginning I already had the wish to share this information with people as well. And I feel like a video is the most um, accessible way to yeah to share it. So back then I didn't feel that comfortable making that video yet. Like it took me quite some courage to start making videos like this, and now yeah I've been doing that for a while, and I thought why not make this video as well because I also generally notice that people like to see MBTI videos. So, like my friends that watch these videos, not all of them know about MBTI, so for them it's not maybe as interesting. I don't know. Or maybe it might catch their interest, but like MBTI is generally a very popular topic on YouTube. And I think I do have something to add about that from my personal perspective. So, yeah, my perspective in this relationship is that I am an INFJ and I am in a relationship with an ENTP man. And, you know, one of the reasons why I felt a bit hesitant to make this video is because I'm kind of scared that it will become too personal because I am in this relationship. Um, you know, it would be interesting to use my personal experience of this topic and also talk about it from my personal perspective. But honestly, I don't feel completely comfortable doing that. And in general, I have the philosophy that I want to be completely open with you and like share every part of myself because I think that's like the way that I can contribute the most. But I am a bit more careful when it also concerns other people. And like in the relationship, there's of course also my boyfriend. So I want to take a bit more distance than maybe I would do if I was talking just about myself. So this video is mostly theoretical, but it has a little bit of my personal experience mixed in, just not so obviously. And also, one of the things that I was trying to do while I was writing that article was trying to make it accessible for like everybody, because I personally have a lot of theoretical knowledge about MBTI, but I know a lot of people on the internet, they do not have that theoretical knowledge necessarily, or just like really fluctuating how much knowledge people have about it. And so I concentrated on telling it in such a way that you can understand it no matter your theoretical background in MBTI. So I think that's it for the introduction. Now let's get to the core of it. So the ENTP plus INFJ relationship, that type of relationship, like the combination of personality types, is called a Pedicoke relationship. And this is going to be a little bit MBTI nerdy, but it's called a Pedicoke relationship because the parent function is the same function as the child function of the other person. And like the parent function is a much stronger, more developed function, and the child function is a much weaker function. And so each person can use their parent function to like develop the other person's child function. And if you don't understand this, then just don't worry about it. This will be the only really technical part that I will be mentioning. But you can maybe remember that this relationship is called the Pedicoke relationship. And to summarize what these types can teach each other is like the FE parent of the INFJ can teach the weaker FE child of the ENTP to be more like empathic and socially attuned. While at the same time, the TI parent of the ENTP can teach the TI child of the INFJ to get better at logical thinking and deductive reasoning. That's just a little summary. Don't worry about it. Okay, I want to start now with what this relationship is like in the bedroom, because like that's a fun topic. We all like to talk about the bedroom topic, as long as we're not scared to do that, that is. The fun thing about this relationship is that the ENTP and the INFJ have the highest sexual compatibility, which means that they really like balance each other out perfectly. Like it's a perfectly fitting puzzle of like sexual needs for these types. Each type can fulfill the sexual role that is most natural to them and get like a lot of satisfaction out of the synergistic experience. So no matter their gender, the INFJ will always have a more initiating or giving role in the sexual relationship. Like they want to focus all of their attention on creating the perfect experience for the ENTP. And the ENTP is super sensitive to like all of the touches and everything that the INFJ is doing to them. And like the INFJ is really enjoying seeing the reactions of the ENTP, like as they are giving the experience. Like the INFJ is very good at tuning in to the other person's feelings and experience, and like they readjust to the reactions that they are seeing to create this perfect experience. Like the INFJ might have some problems at first, that they feel kind of shy to take that initiative sexually, because they have performance anxiety. So that may result in them taking a more submissive kind of role and waiting around a bit for the ENTP to do things. But as the trust in the relationship grows, that should definitely get better. And the INFJ will enjoy it a lot more if they have the courage to take the initiative. And the ENTP, no matter their gender, they will prefer to take a more receptive role in the bedroom, and they will deeply enjoy the sensations that the INFJ can give to them. ENTPs are very picky with the things that they like, which also applies to food. They have very particular taste, and there's also a specific thing that they are very particular about, the kind of textures they like in food. And it's the same with sex, that an ENTP is very picky about the kind of sexual experience that they like the kind of things they like in the bedroom. And they have a kind of comfort zone of what they like to do, and they are very sensitive again. So but this pickiness of the ENTP in the bedroom, it fits perfectly with the INFJ, because the INFJ is so dedicated to the ENTP to give that perfect experience. And because the INFJ is constantly tuning in with the ENTP, what is working, and the INFJ is very careful with what they are doing, but they are still initiating and giving the experience. It's a perfect match. So there is another aspect to this relationship sexually, and that's this type of relationship can also go a little bit darker sexually. And a fictional, very good example of this is from 50 Shades of Grey, because Grey is an ENTP and Anna is an INFJ. So in this more kinky situation, it is actually the ENTP that takes the initiative and who is the more dominant type in the bedroom, and it's the INFJ who is the submissive usually. So in this situation, they can actually reverse roles, which make this relationship very interesting in the bedroom. And again, this highest sexual compatibility means that these types just have really good sex, basically. Especially if the INFJ gets over their fear of performance anxiety, and the ENTP gets over their fear of getting out of their comfort zone. Okay, so next let's talk about the challenges of this relationship. The thing is, the INFJ and the ENTP have a slightly different focus in life. The INFJ is naturally very people-focused, harmonious, and idealistic, while the ENTP is more pragmatic, blunt, and independent. And this difference can create some conflict in this relationship. For example, the ENTP can seem a bit detached to the INFJ. And the ENTP doesn't really understand the kind of confirmation that the INFJ needs from the ENTP, and the need for harmony that the INFJ has. What can be frustrating for the ENTP in this is that the INFJ can seem very judgmental to an ENTP. They have clear ideas about what is the right thing to do. And they can make very harsh judgments about people, also about the ENTP in the relationship. And but in this area, what these types still do have in common is that they are both very focused on creating progression in the world. They do not care so much about traditions. and like keeping the status quo. Like that's kind of equally unimportant to both of these types. Like this is going to be a big topic, the challenges, because the fun thing about this relationship is, and like Pedicoke relationships in general, is that there is a really interesting balance between challenge and harmony. So because of that, there are two results of that challenge. And first of all, you can learn a lot from each other, and this is a relationship that you can really, really grow a lot from, like both of the people involved. The other thing, interestingly, is that the kind of conflict that happens in a relationship can actually be really good for what happens in the bedroom. I recently read a book from Esther Perel, Mating in Captivity, it's called. And through that book, I understood like another level of the Pedicoke relationship, because she's actually saying that in order to have good sex, you need a kind of conflict and to have a kind of distance from each other as well. Like if you are completely melted together and it's a completely harmonious relationship, that kind of goes against the sexual tension. Like you need some kind of tension in a relationship to have good sex. And the Pedicoke relationship is perfect for this, because there are some challenging aspects that create this tension, and at the same time you have this highest sexual compatibility. So the challenge is also good for the bedroom in this case. So let's get a bit deeper into more of these specific challenges. So the INFJ always has a tendency to struggle with feelings of low self-worth and fear of abandonment. And they cope with these insecurities by being selflessly there for others, and by strongly adapting to the social norms of a group, to ensure their safety, in the group, and to ensure their position in the group. And these behaviors will altogether result in them becoming very codependent people. The interesting thing is that an ENTP will naturally not feed into this pattern. And while some other types definitely do, like an ENFP, they will confirm this pattern for an INFJ. But the ENTP doesn't, because the ENTP is so independent, and they get kind of this like reaction from the codependency of the INFJ. So, like, because the ENTP is not feeding into this pattern, it can make the INFJ feel very vulnerable, and it's very tough for them. But if they get through that resistance and that insecurity, it can really teach them to like be more independent and happier with themselves in the end. So in the end, it's a very positive thing, I think, that ENTPs are more independent and don't feed into that pattern of the INFJ, because the INFJ can learn a lot from that. So something more about the ENTP is that they can seem very cold to the INFJ, because they are so focused on what is true and what is factual and what is just. Like justice is very important to them. Like with truth and justice on their side, they can feel like they are justified to do anything. Sometimes they can forget that there are more complex things to consider, in the context of a situation, and like pointing the finger through justice is not always the wise thing to do. yeah, they must realize it's important for them to humble themselves and take a step back, because their relationships will improve a lot from that. Yeah, if they step away to look at the bigger picture and not just at what is true and what is justice. Another thing about the ENTPs that's definitely a big thing is that they tend to wear masks around people. And they manipulate the truth to fit to their audience. They learn to do that because they realize that people are not willing to listen to the truth. Like, to fit into this world and not be alienated, they decide that they have to make the truth more palatable for the people around them. And yeah, bend the truth and manipulate themselves, like how other people see them, to be accepted. And this is very understandable, at least for me, when I look at ENTPs and the struggles that they are having in our society. But it is very important for the ENTP to realize that they do have to let go of this pattern when they are in a relationship with their INFJ. Like, in order for that relationship to work, they need to take off their mask and be completely honest. Like, they need to trust that the INFJ will accept them completely as they are. Like their true, blunt, pragmatic selves. And if the INFJ doesn't, then they're probably not worth their time anyway. So it's important for the ENTP to be 100% honest with their INFJ, because the INFJ will start to distrust the ENTP if the ENTP doesn't show themselves completely. Like, that would be one of the side effects of that. Okay, let's move on to the compatibility of this relationship. So, which areas are easy and fitting well together? Because, we already talked about the sexual part of it. That's also compatible. But now I want to talk about other aspects of the compatibility of this relationship. Like mentioned before, INFJs have fear of abandonment. To state that in a more positive way, they deeply value loyalty. And it's extremely important for them to experience that people will stick around with them no matter what they do and no matter what happens. The cool thing about the ENTP is that they are one of the most loyal types out of all of them. Like, loyalty is extremely important to ENTPs, and they will stick around people that they care about to the end, even when it's not in their best interest to do so. Like, when they are taken advantage of, they will still be loyal to this person, and that can become a problem for them. But in the relationship with a nice, cool INFJ, that can definitely be very, very helpful, that they balance each other out in this area, and that the INFJ can depend on the ENTP. That's a really good feeling. Another thing that works really well is that the ENTP is very, very good at generating new ideas and possibilities, and predicting the outcomes of what certain choices will have. This is amazing for the INFJ because they can choose whatever idea fits best to their heart's desire. And once an INFJ just desires something, they will do anything to get it. And their passion and their desire of something can be so strong that they are also capable of inspiring other people to follow them and also get this inspiration about something. And the ENTP has a very narrow comfort zone, so sometimes the ENTP can become a little bit stuck in life because they have all of these amazing ideas and they can see all of these beautiful outcomes. but they don't know which one to choose, or they are afraid that whatever they choose will give a bad outcome and will get them out of their comfort zone. But the INFJ, with their passion and desire, like that's so inspiring that they can sometimes make the ENTP get out of their comfort zone to follow them, and like inspire the ENTPs to do things they wouldn't have dared to do before. The final thing I want to talk about is fights and how to solve them in this relationship. I want to talk about two things. The guilt loop and the please listen to me dynamic. So let's start with the guilt loop. Both of these types are very prone to feeling guilt, which will inevitably come forward in conflicts. If one feels guilty, the other feels guilty, thus endlessly feeding into each other's feeling of guilt and creating a so-called guilt loop. Both types have a very strong empathic capability, but they kind of lack the awareness of their own personal feelings. Like they're always feeding on other people's feelings, because that's what empathy is. Like, I feel what you feel, but that doesn't mean I have awareness of what I feel. So they lack this awareness, both of them. The INFJ is still the one of these two types that is most capable of developing this awareness. So that's something they can work on. But for the ENTP, it's really kind of like a blind spot. For an ENTP, it's really hard to get in touch with their personal feelings. So in this guilt loop situation in fights, the way to solve it is for the INFJ to take a step back from their guilt and like leave it be for a while, and really tune in with what they are truly feeling themselves in a situation. Like, for example, it made me sad when you said that thing, and that's how we ended up here. And if the INFJ expresses that clear personal feeling about a situation, the ENTP will react really well to that, because they are so empathic. They will like understand what's going on, and they will instantly apologize, and the fight will kind of dissolve itself, because it's like the true cause of the fight is known now, and from there you can quite easily solve it, in my experience. So the other thing, the please listen to me dynamic. Another thing about the fights in this relationship is that they usually center around logical points that are exchanged in a passionate manner. Like, both of these types are very stubborn, and they both feel like they know what is true. And it's kind of, when you listen to these types fight, it's kind of like, is this a debate or is this a fight? And it doesn't always have to end up in a fight. Like, we can also debate for fun, that happens. But often during fights, it can become more emotional, and it becomes kind of a problem. But what both people are really trying to say, when it sounds like they are debating each other, is please listen to me. Because for both of these types, it's very important to feel heard by the other person. Because they are focused on looking at a situation by cause and effect, and they have a need to express this thought process to make the other person understand their point of view of a situation. Because they are so focused on being heard and like, please listen to me, it's very hard for them to listen to another person, actually, sometimes. And in this case, it's the ENTP that needs to step up and develop their listening skills. Because if they start to listen to their INFJ, that's how you are going to solve this situation. Um, it's very important that the ENTP takes a step back here and takes time to listen to their INFJ. And they might actually be surprised at what interesting things they will learn. Of course, by listening, you will also understand the other person better. And yeah, it will increase the effectiveness of your communication. So in that way, it can really solve this situation. So this thing about fights, maybe it seems a bit oversimplified, and it probably is, because fights are complex and every fight is different, so I cannot offer a completely fitting solution for every fight situation. But maybe it can give you a little bit of general insight of what the tendencies are in fights, and maybe it might be useful to you if you are in a fight with your ENTP or INFJ one day. Who knows? Okay, well, that was it for the things that I wanted to share with you, like the article that I wrote in video form. And yeah, like I said, I tried to keep it not too personal. I hope that didn't bother you, that I took that distance a little bit. I can say that it's like a really, really good relationship. It's very challenging. So I think you do need to be very growth oriented to make this relationship work. Because like that's the very thing about this challenging relationship, that if you are willing to go through the challenge and fight together on the same team, you can really, really grow so much from it. Like I have definitely learned so much already from this relationship that I've been in for 1.5 years, and I think I'm just so lucky to be in it, and I couldn't wish anything better for myself. I honestly dare to say that I will stay in this relationship for the rest of my life. If there is any relationship ever that would work for me, it's this one. And of course, that's a very personal thing as well, because there's not just personality type, there's also like how you were raised and your personal development that has influence on how a relationship works for you. But I can say from my personal experience, I highly, highly recommend it. So I hope you liked this video. Give a thumbs up if you want to. And please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more like this. I try to make a video once every 2 weeks at the moment. So if you subscribe, you can see when the next video will be. I would love to like hear from you, your thoughts, like your experience with this relationship, or if you have any questions in the comments below. I love reading the comments. It's like, it feels really personal to me. I really enjoy that. So thank you for watching. Bye!